When I made my video about, Xbox being in a unique position, Nintendo trying to come out, because Xbox has, in my opinion, the best value, the most consumer platform on the console space right now. There's not a company in the console space that comes close. I'm saying this from the perspective of a PC gamer. I game using Steam, good old games, Epic Games, whoever gives me a value. I don't care about their brand. I'm agnostic to it, right? And I myself have my qualms with consoles as a whole because I say that, not that I just say that, they are locked boxes and they take away some value from what the consumer could gain, seeing that the consumer has already purchased this hardware device. Now, when you think about all of this, a comment like this should shock you. This audience member said, yeah, Xbox sits in a very unique position, and that's called last place in console sales. So we have a console warrior that has now defaulted to the brain rot of console war. Okay? Now, they said this. Bowser, this is the America Nintendo guy, could throw his middle finger up and say, F you all, and Nintendo would still outsell Xbox, not only in console sales, but software sales. But let's just wait until the Switch 2 launch and afterwards so I can come back and say I told you so. Now, here's the thing. I think you have just insulted gamers. These are your words. And what has come out of your fingers on a keyboard is the most asinine thing that I've ever seen and insult to gamers as a whole. Now, somebody wrote in one of my other videos where I said Nintendo basically lacks respect for its consumers. That's why it's pricing its games like this and doing all of this stuff. I mean, there are many other things. I'm just going after the game prices for the older games. There's the C button. There are all these things that I haven't mentioned yet. And some people just don't know that I already know. I'm just watching to see how it all plays out. And then we'll see. We'll talk about it. But this has got to be the craziest thing that I've ever seen. That somebody would say that the CEO, one of the executives of a company could come out and raise their middle finger and say F all of you, and Nintendo would still sell more than Xbox, not only in console sales, according to this person, but also in software sales. There are two things that you are probably insinuating here. You're probably insinuating that gamers are not discerning people who would basically take the insult, say thank you, and go buy this, or you're pretty much insulting Nintendo and basically saying that they might be conceited at the same time. I have not put any words in your mouth. I'm just reading it how you've basically dished it. So everybody read along with me. Maybe I'm messing this translation up. Let's go. Yeah, Xbox sits in a very unique position, and that's called last place in console sales. Bowser could throw his middle finger up and say, F you all, and Nintendo would still outsell Xbox, not only in console sales, but in software sales. Goodness gracious. Now he says, but let's just wait until the Switch 2 launch and afterwards so I can come back and say I told you so. Now, I don't know if this is a Nintendo agent or if this is a Nintendo fan, or if this is a PlayStation fan or Xbox fan or PC person that likes Nintendo, but I have to say this is the most fantastical thing that I've ever seen. This could be that this person truly believes this and walks around and actually thinks that this is the way things probably should work. It's a very, very interesting timeline, ladies and gentlemen, that we're in, where one platform could be offering value, doing everything to court you to get your money, giving you everything. It doesn't matter what it is. What do you say it is that you want? We wanted this. Okay, here it is. Right? And another platform, somebody could think that the platform will come out and say, throw the middle finger up in the air, insult all of you, and y'all will still line up like drones and go ahead and buy their product. Is this what people really think about gamers? Is this what people really do think about gamers? Or is this like a joke? Am I actually right now am I experiencing the biggest joke and the biggest prank ever played on anybody's minds? Because ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy. And for me to think about it this way, and say, when you think about when we go toe to toe, what is Nintendo offering? And I haven't even done any Nintendo, a lot. I haven't started looking. Well, I've done a little bit of that, but looking at Nintendo and looking at what the PC offering is, I mean, it's not a question. Slapped the Nintendo was. But this particular comment really did almost shock me. But another, and I don't know why anybody would think that this is an argument to make. I've been seeing some comments also on the channel. A lot of people have very strong opinions about this stuff. Some people are like, man, don't buy the games if you don't want it. You don't like Nintendo and what they're doing. But here's the thing. You see, I talk about gaming from the perspective of the benefits to the consumer. Okay? And that's where I come into the conversation. If there's no benefit to the consumer in something, I have to be able to show where the consumer can get better value compared to that. Right? Like, I could show anybody. I could say, hey, man, you know what? Here's Steam. Here's this. Here's that. But if there's a better proposition, or even if there's a bad proposition, I got to be able to show all of it to at least say, this proposition is a bad proposition. You know what I mean? And so if I'm not going to say anything about Nintendo's anti-consumer nature in regard to this, then what am I doing here? And I'm not telling you to not patronize or not. Is your conscience guilty? Do you need VG to, approve of your purchase? Do you need me to, I don't know. What do you need from me? You don't need my my opinion. You don't need me to affirm your actions. I'm just being honest. You could go do whatever you want to do, but I think I'm in a position where I feel obliged to be able to point out everything that I can find that we see that is available, that is beneficial to the consumer. And it's all here. And I just will keep pointing it all out. That's all I'm trying to do. And I said this before, and I've said it over and over again. It is what it is. Like, let's be honest. Right? Anyways, comment section. Fantastical claim made by this individual. Thanks for watching. Peace out.